Did you know that both reverse step-ups and using a slant board are proven to improve patellar pain? I did not know this. I had 10 years of chronic patellar pain. I spent $10,000 in surgical alterations, another $10,000 in treatments because I didn't know this data, that I could let my knees over my toes. And in fact, that on a step-down test, the worse you are with your knees over toes, which I was the worst with my knees over my toes, makes you statistically more likely to have knee pain and knee injuries. Now, from knowing this data, went from entering my 20s having never grabbed rim.
Literally, I don't know if he could touch the rim with his fingertips with no basketball or anything else.
No college recruitment at any level, to then training myself to full Division I basketball scholarship, dunking every which way, the knees of my dreams. And an ATG coach knows this, and doesn't just know that, but knows exactly how to scale that so that anyone can do it. Knows exactly what to do even with no equipment whatsoever, how to start you. But even once I started handling my knees, I had horrible shin splints. In college, I used to have to pre-wrap and tape my entire lower legs before every practice and game. I would wear high socks so that people wouldn't know how brutal it was. If without being pinned down, I wouldn't have even been able to play because my shin pain was so bad. And did you know that this kind of a tool was actually popular in the 80s? We never got to the point, exercise science is in the Stone Age, we never got to the point of testing real stuff for athletes that we need to prevent pain. 7 times more money has been spent studying acceleration than deceleration, even though it's deceleration where we get hurt, even though this is the first line of defense. An ATG coach knows the tibialis is the first line of defense. An ATG coach probably has a tip bar. An ATG coach knows that you can do this with just a dumbbell and a $10 floss band. I personally came up with that and popularized it, and it's been used now by world champion athletes, by world record holders who rely on force going into that area. And an ATG coach knows how to start this with absolutely no equipment whatsoever, starting anyone at any level, not to mention my mom is doing this. Just put whatever weight on it you want. I mean, this is an exercise for everyone to change the rest of your life, not just for athletes. This is how you walk. This reduces the pressure coming up through your knees in the first place, not to mention every pain below the knees. Did you know a Nordic bench even existed? I didn't even know a Nordic bench existed until my mid-20s when I saw Marty St. Louis do exactly this.
Hold and up. Nice.
Hands behind back. Glutes contract first, so the abs come off the bench, so the pressure all goes to the hamstrings, and then pull up, then dropping, getting the thigh below a 45-degree angle, and pulling back up. And do you know what his trainer said? His trainer said he was the only guy out of 25 professional hockey players in the gym at that time who could do that. And did you know that scales? Did you know that even once I could dunk, I was still super slow? I finished college able to dunk, unable to break 5 seconds in a 40-yard dash. Like, without having the smarts for basketball, I couldn't have even played a sport that would have relied more speed. I couldn't have played football or soccer. I would have been literally too slow, whereas in basketball, I could use some basketball IQ and get by, but I wasn't like a dangerous player because I was too slow. And I didn't know a Nordic bench existed. And remember, I spent 10 G's on surgical alterations, another 10,000 on treatment. You have no idea how much more. I probably spent another 10,000 on all kinds of equipment that didn't actually lead to any kind of measurable plan or change in my body, but the world's best athletes can do this. There's no study. There's literally no study on how far you can go down and pull back up. No study on that. And even just in the studies we do have, it indicates 50% less chance of hamstring injury. That's just from like fighting down like a total wuss, not even training this with any kind of respect compared to any of the other lifts, bench, squat, deadlift, all these things. Did you know this is how your ACL attaches? We have an epidemic of ACL tears. That means every ounce stronger you get here, you reduce your chances of having an injury that can change and fuck up the rest of your life. And this costs less than every lat pull down in the gym. This costs a tenth of, a treadmill or whatever. So we have a responsibility to popularizing this kind of stuff. This would have completely changed my life. An ATG coach knows that and trains knee flexion to standards beyond any other system. And an ATG coach knows how to regress this. My mom is working on it. She told me on the phone 2 days ago that this is one of her favorite exercises, and she's 66. Yet I've had pro athletes who had ACL tears, whose careers, their lives were being ruined, start out with me and say, oh, I can't even do that, only to find, oh shit, actually I can do that. An ATG coach knows that. An ATG coach even knows how to makeshift this. So an ATG coach knows how to help anybody with this to scientifically reduce chances of ACL tear. Well, again, there's no studies, but the fastest guys like the Tyreek Hills of the world, they can do this like it's nothing. The super slow shit athletes like me, we're dropping like a sack of potatoes. And last but not least, did you know that the hip flexors are the #1 difference in muscle size between regular humans and elite sprinters? But probably even worse than that piece of data going unknown. Did you know that trainers advised me not to strengthen my hip flexors? Did you know that I've had athletes struggling with their speed starting with me and their trainer told them not to strengthen their hip flexors because tight hip flexors are a problem? An ATG coach knows how to build world-class hip flexor length. Check out my ATG split squat. I have quite literally world-class hip flexor length. Being weak is never an advantage. Being weak only creates problems. But here's the thing. When you make one mistake in life and training, anything else, and you don't then handle and confront that mistake, you now have to make another mistake to cover it up. So whenever I hear, don't do it, when you see videos say, don't do this, don't, every area of your body that a trainer's telling you not to strengthen or not to, just by the natural law of the universe, has nothing to do with training. By the natural law of the universe, they've already made mistakes that they are not confronting and accounting for. Okay, weak hip flexors is a problem. Tight hip flexors is a problem. An ATG coach knows how to address both those problems, scale them to any level. This thing, not only is this cheap, an ATG coach knows how to start this with no equipment. And an ATG coach probably has one of those, and we have a responsibility to popularizing those while also building world-class hip flexor length. So if you've watched this video and you're feeling pissed off, hey, good, I'm still pissed off. The reason I'm able to put out a new video every day, 7 days a week, do all this shit, is not because I have any special energy. I don't take any special coffee or pre-workout or anything like that. It's because I'm still genuinely pissed off. I'm just a super average, if not below average dude who was the slowest guy on every team, had the worst knees on every team, had, like I said, 10 G's on surgical alterations, another 10 on treatments, and like I said, probably another 10 on wasted gadgets and gizmos and all kinds of supplements that just went on year and year without solutions. And an ATG coach has those solutions, and they're so simple. So yeah, I'll probably keep doing a video a day until ATG coaches are all over the world. ATG coaches, you can find them online. I hire tons of these ATG coaches myself to work online. You can hire us the cheapest in the world to have your form coach. And then if you want to find someone in person, start right now by talking to Keegan Smith, the ATG mentor. He'll direct you to the best ATG coach near where you are for in-person work, and we're extremely close. We have 2 full-time web developers, 2 brothers, amazing guys who were members, who were like, we know how we can make this better. So the user friendliness is insane of our site and stuff because we have 2 full-time guys, and they're very close to a search directory. So you'll even be able to find an in-person coach super easily. Until then, which could be, by the time you're watching this video, could be any day, but until then, talk to Keegan Smith, the ATG mentor. He'll tell you the ATG coach near you who's not gonna give you a limited mindset, who's not gonna follow things that are proven to cause injury. He's gonna follow things, he's gonna empower you, him or her. We have some amazing male and female ATG coaches, okay? Life is hard. Doesn't have to be that hard. Doesn't have to be surgical, or doesn't have to be tens of thousands of dollars in treatments when the real solution's right in here. My theory is that the body was created correctly. So all we have to do is see what mistakes we made along the way. What mistakes are made in the body. That's it. So far this theory is working out pretty good that we don't even have to do anything fancy. All my equipment combined costs less than a single treadmill that they have at every Holiday Inn. So it's pretty cool. I know it's a weird thing to start to realize, holy crap. What if the closer we got to the actual truth, the simpler it got? Well, that's my philosophy. The closer we get to the truth, the simpler it gets. And our bodies were created properly. So all we have to do is see where it went wrong. And an ATG coach knows that, doesn't just know it, knows it with scalable and measurable accuracy, and can make shift or start you with no equipment at all.